Hey, yo, and welcome, sports fans, here to your favorite little midweek talk show here, where we are on Line Snipers in the Crosshairs. Line Sniper, your definitive resource for all things sports betting. And it's a boys' takeover on a Tuesday. It's Joey KNISH'S here. Ali Melendez out today. She'll be back next week, but we got a little NFL playoffs to talk this week. We got some NBA, and who do I have here? The man to my right. When I'm talking NFL playoffs, I knew who to bring back today. We got our man J-Maz. What's up, brother? How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. Looking forward to finally the playoffs are here. We got a lot of games to break down. I am a fan of the extra game. Let's just keep that thing around just for the record to get us going. I love 3 games on 2 days. I mean, we're going to sit there. I might not even get dressed. I might not shower. I'm just going to hang out. I'm going to have some wings. I'm going to watch football for basically 48 straight hours. So I'm excited to talk about it.
No, I like it. I like the triple header. You got the Eastern time. You got 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock. Don't have to move for 12 hours. Both Saturday and Sunday. So let's kick it off, baby. We'll start with a little AFC wild card round, and I'm going to let you go. Hey, give me whatever AFC. We got 3 games. Give me whatever you got as far as an AFC wild card, and I'll circle back with you with my favorite. So give me what you got. AFC wild card, best bet right off the bat.
Absolutely. So I have 1 bet in. Actually, I have 2 bets in. 1 number is not quite there. So I'm going to get your opinion on whether or not it's still bettable here in a second. But my best bet of the week, by far, Buffalo Bills, absolutely steamrolling into the playoffs. I love that kind of form going in, clicking on all cylinders on offense. The defense, little sketchy. We'll see how that holds up over the next month or so. But that offense is running well. Josh Allen, MVP candidate. You know, we know Aaron Rodgers is going to win that award this year, but Josh Allen should be in that discussion for how he played, his progression, what we've seen. And I know I was with you early on. I did not see this coming. I did not see the accuracy coming. The athleticism almost looked like it went up a notch. He's one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now, and they're laying 6.5 to a Colts team that I don't think can move the ball. You have a Philip Rivers who he's not throwing the ball downfield. Mr. Check down. They're going to try to establish that run, and I'm not a believer in the run game. I think you need to be throwing the ball 30, 40 times in this NFL to win. So when I look at that game in Buffalo, I see that to be an absolute steamroll. So the 6.5, the 7 is fine. I wouldn't be surprised if this ticks up to a 7.5. You're obviously a better guy to talk about that with when it comes to the market. But Buffalo Bills, I see them rolling everyone. I think they're going to give the Chiefs a little bit of run for their money. I haven't liked what I saw from the Chiefs down the stretch. That'll be a game that we'll talk about maybe in a few weeks. But my best bet from the AFC, without a doubt, is going to be the Buffalo Bills minus 6.5.
No, I like it. I think you're going to see, right now it's in a tough spot for the market because you're going to see an absolute ton of teaser liability on this game. Everybody who submitted a teaser this weekend is going to have Bills in a teaser piece. So it'll be interesting to see kind of where the market gets shifted. You know, you've seen a little bit of buy up on the 7. Couple things to watch there with just – I saw Cole Beasley was a DNP today, and Stephon Diggs had a little bit of a limited status in practice. So 2 of the main targets there for the Bills, just something to watch. But I agree with you, man. And this is something from preseason where I never saw Allen hitting this level for the Bills. Thought they could be a competitive team, but 13 wins, and as you said, a team that over the last 4 to 6 weeks since they've really gotten healthy, has looked like the best team in football. They've played better than the Chiefs. And again, if they go head-to-head here in an AFC final, it's a different story with a Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. But as of right now, I agree with you. I don't think there's anybody playing better football than them. One that I'm looking at, we'll flip to Sunday, but still AFC wildcard, Titans-Ravens. Right around -3 and 55.5. I don't have, I saw some Baltimore money early. There's been a little bit of Tennessee money today buying up the 3 in the hook. This one for me, the total's ticked up a bit. And I'm looking at, if where to kind of see where this peaks out at. And I'll probably play an under. There's some shops that are 55. I'm seeing a couple of juiced 55.5. And I'll be watching the market today. I'm going to play under in this game. I think, you're going to get monitoring the weather a little bit, but both teams that love to stay on the ground. And I know Tennessee's defense has not been good at all, but a lot of times it's been exposed via the air. I think you've got a team that are pretty familiar with each other. Both teams primarily want to run the ball. They can throw the ball if they have to, but they primarily want to go on the ground. Just a high number now that it's ticked up a little bit. At the opener, I would have left it alone, but now that I'm seeing some 55, even 55.5, that's going to be a small buy for me on the under, as I like it there in the AFC matchups.
No, I like that,
We're
and that's
not done,
interesting.
baby. No, hey, listen. When Joe, you got to keep an eye on that, especially if I see a 50, 56, 57 would be about. I don't think it'll get there, but that's one to keep an eye on the way. But we're not going to let you get away without the NFC. NFC wild card here, another trifecta of games. Bucks versus the football team. At least it's not the Giants. The Bucks, at least it was a football. The football team gets in over the Giants, and we've got Bucks -8. Totals come down a bit, right around 45. We've got Bears, Saints. That number's starting to go up. You're seeing some Saints -10 populate. Total around 47. And you've got Rams, Seahawks in a game where we don't know exactly who's going to play quarterback for Los Angeles this weekend, but -3.5, -4 around the market. Total around 42.5. Give me what you got in the NFC.
I'm only looking at one play in the NFC, although, let's be real here. I will most likely have a little bit of something on every single one of these games. I'm not getting away with not having just a little fun in the playoffs. You got to have a little action going. But in terms of a full stake, I only have one full stake in the NFC. I'm looking at the under in this Washington and Tampa Bay game. Look, the way you stop Tampa is with a 4-man pass rush. They don't not even need 4 with Sweat and Young on the edges there in Washington. That defense has been exceptional. It's interesting when you see such a high line, 8.5 right now with Tampa, and such a low total for 45. Like you said, it did tick down to 45. I have 45.5, in the book right now. So I'm looking at the matchup. I just, Tom has been able to be stifled by guys who can get easy pressure up front. You have 2 of the best edge pressure guys in the NFL right now, 2 young talents, and that defense is going to be solid moving forward. It's something they could build on there in Washington. They can't really they need a name, first and foremost. Let's get them a name, please. But in the meantime, they do have 2 really good rushers that are going to be able to get after Tom. And on the offensive side of the ball, we don't know what we're going to see from Washington. I mean, is Alex Smith even going to be able to walk? Who is going to be able to be, playing quarterback? He did not look very good in that Sunday night game, although no one really looked very good in that Sunday night game, so I don't really know what you can take from that. But, I don't see Washington be able to move the ball on a very solid defense, especially up front there in Tampa. And then on the flip side of the ball, I think they're going to be able to get after Tom. And, you're missing when you take a look at what happened with Mike Evans. That is a huge, huge loss for them. He is one of their biggest threats, 1,000-yard season, tons of targets. You're taking that share away and you're giving it to someone who just simply is not as good. You're talking about one of the top 10, top 15 wide receivers in the NFL. That's going to affect. They've been working all year to get that continuity. They're finally starting to click. Now he's hurt. Obviously, you have Godwin and you have Antonio Brown, but they need the full complement, especially if they're going to make a run this playoffs. I like the under there. I don't think Tampa's going to move the ball. Who knows what we're getting from Washington? I would grab it before it takes down even further to 44 to 44.5. Get that 45s in. Lock that in. That's my favorite play.
No, I agree. And you know what? That's one that's probably seen one of the biggest early movers is that was around 47. It's down to 45. I agree with you. It's only going one way for me. I don't think it would surprise me to see Evans play. I saw there was, he didn't have any ligament damage. They were a bit optimistic. He was in the walkthrough today, but saw some reports. If it would have been a full practice, he wouldn't have practiced. It would surprise me just seeing how it played out and, how bad of a limp he had after that. If he could go, I still like the Bucs here, though. I mean, what I saw from the football team against the Eagles on Sunday night offensively, you are hard pressed to find right now with Alex Smith. That I didn't think he'd be back 100%, but you could have argued he was maybe half a go. He could not
couldn't move.
Like he could just flat out not move. Couldn't get away from anybody. Was a statue in the pocket, and he's not a guy. He's a guy that still, even at his age, relies a little bit on picking up some first downs with his legs. Usually, he's had good mobility throughout his career. He can't throw the ball downfield. And he can't move. So you're basically, and they're not running the ball, with any type of consistency. So you're basically relying on him, to complete these, 3 to 10 yard passes to matriculate your way all the way down the field. So for me, I laid it with the Bucs early at the 7 opener. I would wouldn't be surprised to see this close upwards of around a 10. I think you're going to see just so much teaser and money line liability on the Bucks. That this, if you want to get in with the Bucks, I would now. If you want to get on the Skins, I would wait for it. You've already seen a little bit of soft nines pop. I think this is going to hit 10. I just think it'll be an avalanche of Bucks money. Because I can't make any K, and I think you saw Rivera say it today. I was thinking that they might have been going to Taylor Heineke at some point on Sunday because that's how bad Smith looked. And you saw Rivera say that it might even be a split at quarterback this weekend if he can't move the ball at all in the first half. So, no, I agree with that one. I like the under. I laid it with Tampa. Bucks Bills tease will be popular, but hard to argue against that. And those are two, especially with the Bucks, that if you're going to bet it, there's still some 8s out there. I think this is more of a close around 9.5, 10. Anything you like for me? You got, we got Bears, Saints here. I don't know. This was ticking up to 10. Rams, Seahawks. Anything even a little bit of a lean in the other ones?
I look at that number in the Rams Seahawks game, and I gotta think that's just a little bit short. When you're looking at it's on the over under, I think it's a little low. Goff's backup did not, and again, his name is escaping me, nor should I really remember it, considering he's pretty much a journeyman guy.
Our boy Johnny
Wolford, man, the dude did not look that bad, I have to say. Now, you got McVay, who's one of the preeminent offensive minds. He's going to set him up for success, so you would expect him not to look terrible. Let's be real. Look what he's done with Goff. He's actually made him a serviceable quarterback. He's an average guy. He's not going to do anything special, but hey, led him to a Super Bowl. Did not look that bad. I think they can still move the ball, and the Seattle defense is really terrible. The Rams defense is obviously the best unit of any of these four. But, we got Russell Wilson and a guy who's familiar with their schemes. They play twice a year. This is the third time they're going to be meeting. And, he knows what to expect from that Rams defense. I think that's a tick low. I'm interested in what you have on that one. And to be honest with you, the other, the Saints Bears, I just have no idea. I can't. I'm not going to try and figure out what the fuck Mitchell Trubisky's going to do, dude. Like, that guy he drives me absolutely insane. I have no read on that. I'd be interested to see, to hear if you have anything on either of those two games. Right now, I don't have much.
No, and I tend to agree with you on the Rams. Even though the Seahawks have really, really, really struggled down here the stretch here. The last, you thought it was kind of it hasn't been kind of a one-off. The last 6 weeks they've played some ugly football. So I understand people, having a hesitancy to lay. This opened up 2.5, got up to 4.5. You've seen some buyback. I agree. If there's only one way I'm looking, it would be to go with Seattle here, but not one that especially we don't know the status yet. I thought Wolford looked okay. I'm not a Goff guy to begin with, so if anything, he did provide a little bit more mobility on the ground to kind of give another element of the Rams offense. I like McVay, being able to scheme that up. So I don't have much on the other one. If anything, Saints will be a popular moneyline parlay piece. But again, as you said, I know Trubisky's seen a somewhat of a resurgence here. But going against, I would say the best defense in the NFC in a fully loaded Saints team. And now that the Saints have got Breeze, it's feeling better. Maybe Michael Thomas status is kind of iffy there, should be back. But God, if I see maybe a 10.5 or something, or a 10.5, 11, I'd look to Chicago. Otherwise, it's a pass for me. So
what is your Wolford to Goff? How many points you giving that quarterback change?
I tell you what, and you know what? So last week, he gets out right. The market goes to 2.5. Massive steam, sharp move. You're talking Sunday steam on the Rams, and it closed right about where it is. So for me, I would argue after seeing that and seeing the result of how he played, maybe a point, and that seems ridiculous to say, but, the market corrected it. The Rams, outplayed the Cardinals in a lot of aspects. Wolford provided some things that Goff can't, and Goff hadn't been playing good football. So it's, I know some people who were AAF fans thought that, he could come in and do the job, and he looked decent. I'm not going to tell you he was the greatest quarterback. Yeah, with how poorly Goff was playing,
worse than Goff does every week.
I agree with you. So yeah, for me, I would say 2 at the absolute max, but more half point now, which is it is crazy to say, but kind of the proof is in the pudding type of thing. So
gotcha.
Let's flip over here. We covered some wild card weekend. We'll get in a little midweek association talk here. Head into the hardwood. we got, full slate of games tonight. Some NBA picks where we can get some people for a play tonight. You got anything for me on the hardwood for tonight? We got Jazz, Nets, Lakers, Grizz, T-Wolves, Nuggets, Spurs, Clips, and the Bulls and Blazers tonight. Give me what you got for me on the hardwood.
We're looking at a lot of big numbers here. And, it's been really interesting this year. Every game has either been a blowout, like 10 double-digit wins by either team. I mean, dogs have been covering, a full double-digit and then some. Or you're seeing some really close games. The travel has been interesting. These baseball style, one home and home. It's not even a home and home. It's two home games in a row, same team. A lot of interesting dynamics in the NBA. I have taken a little bit of a back seat and just trying to see how things shake out. I play a lot of DFS, actually. That's how I get my NBA fix every day. I'm grinding the DFS world. But, I do see a little play here. I'm looking at this Lakers team who had spent some time in Memphis already. So there's no home court advantage. They're even, right now, road teams have beaten outright home teams more than the home teams have won, on their own court. So looking at an LA team, they're only laying 9. They're a substantially better team. Now, you never know what you're going to get week in and week out, but they should be rested. They have a full day off yesterday. They came out, they absolutely stomped the Grizzlies 2 days ago. With an interesting fourth quarter, LeBron basically came out and dominated after AD went absolutely cold. I think he scored 17 points in like 34 minutes, something like that. I expect a huge game from AD against a team there in Charlotte, or in Memphis, that literally has no bigs to guard him. I mean, he should be able to do whatever he wants down low. So AD over props. Give me in the Lakers -9 as well. You can find some 8.5s out there that I like as well. You're going to rest the team. They've been hanging out there. They should be good to go. Again, night to night, you're not sure what you're going to get from the defending champions, but at least the AD props. I see AD going for a big game today.
No, I can't argue with that one. The Grizz definitely a different team. Without Morant, they have not trended well since the Morant injury. He was kind of a guy that I thought could be kind of a most improved candidate, maybe a dark horse MVP type guy, especially he started off at 40. But that's kind of gone off the rails quick with him missing at least a month. And I agree with you there. That's one thing, you mentioned an interesting nugget there with the home court of it took a little bit for the NFL. People kind of realize that for the most part, there is no more home court advantage. Where when you're playing in these empty arenas, and unless, they've tried to modify the travel schedule, it's really just basically neutral on neutral. No, that's I like that tonight. If I had to play, this one is obviously moved a ton since the Durant news where he's going to be out the full week. I still like the Jazz up there. There's some, cheap 4.5s out there. I'd be okay with. I played up to 5. I think with the Dinwiddie injury and the Durant injury, you saw this. Brooklyn was going to be a short faith here. Durant's out. It goes all the way up to Jazz, -4.5 and touch 5 some places. Totals come down 6 points. I like the early season. The Jazz have been a little bit of a buy for me in the early season. And I just, Brooklyn now, it's going to be, once they've gotten down, they were a team that, it was kind of structured to where that first, you have Cares coming off the bench, you had a nice starting 5. Now that you're down 2 guys, they're 7 through 12 kind of on the roster wasn't something that I was extremely impressed with. And I don't think something that they were really going to lean on. But you start missing a few guys now, and I still think they're a little bit of a fade right now until KD is back. Give me, though, a little bit of association futures here. We know tonight's slate, not too many bangers here, but you got anything as far as buy prices, as far as, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, East, West? Give me what little NBA buy if you got any future action. So,
I analyzed this market when the season started, and, I ended up sprinkling just a little touch on the Joker to win the MVP. I felt like they were going to have one of the best offenses in the league, and, they were going to play very hard during the regular season. This is a team that, has shown that throughout the last 2 years, over this little run. He's a triple-double machine. They run their offense through him night in and night out. And, it looked like he was coming in shape, which is, something we haven't seen from him in the past. So now you're looking at him at about 8-1. And to be honest, I think he's got to be the favorite right now. If the season, obviously, we're only 10% of the way through, but he has had an exceptional year, and you're still getting an 8-1 on him. And, if he keeps this up, he will be the MVP. I mean, I would say he is the MVP of the first, like I said, we're only a 10th through the season, so it's not really saying much, 7 games, but I think you're still getting a little bit of value there, 8-1. It should probably be closer to 4-5. It's almost like, I'm not even sure who would be in the running with him. KD now missing 4 games because that's my other position. Obviously, Giannis and the Bucks have struggled. You're not, Steph Curry. I mean, you're not going to give him the MVP if he gets the 7th or 8th seed, so he's pretty much out. Kawhi, LeBron, and AD just aren't playing much. So, I mean, by process of elimination, I'm not sure where else we're going to go. And you're still getting 7-8-1 in most of these markets. So I think there's still a little bit of value there. Joker winning that MVP award. He's shown he has the ability to do so, considering they're running the ball through him. High post. He's scoring on any big in the league. He's facilitating all the guys around him. So I still think there's value there. I think you can still take a little stab at Joker to win the MVP this year.
No, I was going to – this has got to be the most wide open and early season MVP race. I remember in a minute that there was just no consensus. Doncic came in the heavy favorite. He's disappointed a little bit. The Mavs are disappointed a little bit. Is Giannis going to get, a little Giannis fatigue? I agreed with the Durant position, but now he's missing at least a week with the COVID here. Davis and LeBron canceling each other out. DraftKings, as you see right now, Joker 12-1. I agree with you. I know that. I think that it'd be one of those here when you get another week or two of play into the season, and if nobody starts standing out, his case really starts to solidify itself. I know Curry dropped a bomb the other day, but it's a team that is going to struggle to win 30 games. I'm gonna go. I like that MVP look. I go with a little defensive player of the year here now. I got some KNISH'S moles here that there's a friend of a friend that may do some of this stuff for a sports book as kind of his position there. And he was recommending to us, last night and the day before to buy up some EMBIID Defensive Player of the Year. So
Ooh.
I bought up some 11-1. I bought up some 9-1. The Sixers have great start, look fantastic. EMBIID is healthy here. And a couple of the other guys, your traditional players, Davis, Gobert, Giannis, for Defensive Player of the Year. There's also some of that, fatigue, kind of the same guys year after year. EMBIID, 9-1 or better, 9-1 on DK. I saw 11-1 on FanDuel. The word was that should be coming down. And not saying he's a lock to win it or anything, but as far as a nice price to get in before the move, I got up. It's hard to get down to those on the some of the specialty awards, but bought up as much as I could of that. As I think you'll see that with the Sixers off to a great start, them playing good defense, him healthy. He at least, MVP was another one to look at, but I actually liked him a little better here for Defensive Player of the Year. I think he's got a much more reasonable shot at that. So 9-1, 11-1 on a little Defensive Player of the Year here.
What is his MVP number?
MVP, I saw, right around 20. He started the year at 50, which I know some people, that I know a couple people that sprinkled that, but now I'm seeing, 20, 25-1. That'd be another one. I don't think he's, he's hit the level of play yet to kind of get in the conversation. The Sixers are winning. He probably needs to up the stats another level to get in the MVP conversation. But, at 20, 25-1, maybe that's a little sprinkle there with the Defensive Player of the Year stuff. So,
well, I'll say this: when it comes to the NBA, you're going to need a top 3 seed to win an MVP award. The way that they're playing, they might end up in one of those. So, when you're looking at the best players from the top 6 teams, he might be able to fit that. It might not be a little Joker. Maybe it's the year of the bigs out there in the association. It's a weird year. Everyone's moving to guards and 3-point shooting, and 2 bigs might be 1 and 2 in the MVP.
I like it. Hey. Now let's hit the big daddy of them all, the natty here. You think we're going to go on a show without me and Jay, and we're not going to talk national championship? Alabama, Ohio State, the big one for all the chips here, national championship. Give me what you like here. We got it's -7.5 total, way up there around 75. I saw it touch 78 some places. 75 should be electric. I'm excited for this one. Probably the most offensive talent we've ever seen in a national championship game. Give me what early look there for a national title game. What you like?
I'm super excited just to watch this game as a fan of football. This should be for those video gamers and us, when we go out and play an NCAA 2014, rest in peace. This is going to be a game exactly like that. It's going to be throwing it around. It's going to be high scoring. No one's going to stop anyone. Super excited. And here's the thing. This is eerily similar to me to when Deshaun Watson took it to Alabama, single-handedly was the best player on the field. And I mean, that was an absolute shootout. We're talking an overtime double. We throws, the game-winning throw to Hunter Renfrow there in the corner of the end zone. I see a similar game playing out where neither team is stopping anyone, and the best quarterback is on the other side of Alabama. So we're getting 7.5. So if we have that same kind of situation play out, we go into overtime, we're good to go. Justin Fields showed a lot in that Clemson game, a lot that I didn't think he had. And so when you have that kind of confidence, and I know he's banged up, that's fine. They're going to shoot him with the best synthetic things that they can get in that body to make him right and ready to roll when it comes to the national championship game. I like Justin Fields. I like the athleticism. I think this is a Deshaun Watson kind of kid all over again. I mean, shoot, he was higher rated, higher touted than Deshaun Watson was coming out of Georgia high school. The guy is special. He has it there. He has it all. Again, I think Alabama's going to put up points. This is going to be one of those whoever has the ball last, and we're getting 7 points. So 7.5. I grabbed 7.5. So that is my play. It's a Justin Fields bet. I don't really care about the other players on the field. I want the best quarterback in the nation, the best quarterback on the field in this game. Give me Ohio State plus 7.5.
No, I like it. That's where my money was at early too. I'll give a couple of tidbits of info. There was a little bit. I heard the rumors yesterday. Now you've seen it kind of break about another mini corona outbreak here at the Ohio State University. There was some talk on the networks of potentially moving the game back. I think for some people, it's only a couple of defensive linemen, which obviously is an issue. But Ohio State's got the talent to backfill it. They should be getting a couple guys back from the last time that Zach Harrison and that getting back in the fold. But I agree. I thought Fields against Clemson, best game he's ever played as a collegiate. A game that'll probably make him a good chunk of money and put him back in the conversation there for QB2 coming up in the draft. I think a lot of people had kind of cemented themselves on Zach Wilson after seeing that Fields performance. It's hard not to have the conversation again. He was electric. Ohio State offense is electric. They've got the talent. They've got the depth to challenge. And I agree with you. So I would say though, if you're you haven't bought in yet, watch it. Now the news just dropped. McMurphy about half hour ago was tweeting it out, so you might see this number tick up a little bit. But I agree with you. As long as the COVID situation isn't more extensive than I'm hearing, Ohio State over a touchdown got to be the side, got to be the play for me. But I know it should be absolutely fantastic game and something here. Hey, one look here, another. If you get a slow start or something, live over. I think there'll be points in this one no matter what. The total right now, a little rich for me. I think it's right on. But if at any point you can either get, Ohio State, Alabama scores first, you can get a 14.5 or a little bit lower on the total. Those would be the live looks to get in there. So, we're not going. Hey, number one, now listen, it's the best bets. But I'm direct. I don't know what you even put in the script for the best bets, but I'm going to ask J-Maz best bet. So we're going to sign off here. But before we do, we're going best bets. But what's back this week? They're on the links, baby. I don't know a damn thing about golf, but I know a man who does. So all I know is that there's golf back this week, and it's best bets, and I want a golf banger. So I'm going right over to you here. Best bets, and it's got to be a golf play. What you got for me?
I mean, it doesn't take much. I know where my bread is buttered. It's on the PGA Tour. So, we're in Kapalua, the Tournament of Champions. Normally, you have to win a golf tournament to get into this thing, but because of COVID, it's going to be the top 30 of last year's FedEx Cup standings. You get the best of the best. Only a couple guys aren't playing. Kapalua is an interesting golf course. You can pretty much spread anywhere. The guys are going to go low. It's a fun tournament. They're in Hawaii. They're chilling. They got the island vibes going. But the one thing about this tournament that's interesting, a winner always comes from the top of the market. You can look back at the last time someone deep won it, 50-1, Jonathan Bird back in like 2012 or some shit. So if you want a winner, look at the top of the market, take JT. That would be my guy up top. But my best bet is this, okay? We're going to go to the head-to-head market, the market that any golf bettor, that's where we make our money, is betting the full tournament head-to-heads. Anyone who follows the game knows that. I'm looking at Webb Simpson over Xander Schauffele. Okay, you're getting him at plus 140, plus 135 for the full tournament, so he's a substantial dog. And when you're early on in the season like this in the golf and betting golf, it's really difficult because we don't know what the hell these guys have been doing for the last month and a half. They've been taking all of December off. Most of them, we haven't seen them since the Masters in November, which is, obviously a unique situation. So early on in the season, you want to go light, but you also have to have your ear to the ground. So what I know about Xander is that he contracted COVID about 3 weeks ago. This is his first time, more or less, leaving his house. So he's going to make a cross a Pacific flight to Kapalua, where he has played really well. I'll tell you this, Joey, don't let anyone convince you that course history really matters that much. Don't be a course history truther, okay, my friend? You are not going to be that because you listen to me, and so you know that it doesn't really matter. And the fact that he has played well here, it is not that big of a deal because this course sets Webb Simpson's game just fine, okay? One of the best putters on tour, one of the best wedge players on tour. He's going to have all that stuff in. And considering just their skill level in general is very similar. I make them on a neutral, quote unquote, right? You're only looking at minus 120, minus 125 for Schauffele, and and that's given no juice. So you're getting a little bit of edge anyways. Couple that with the fact that we don't know what Xander's been doing for the last month. He's had COVID. So I'm going to go ahead and play that angle in this situation, mostly because we don't have a lot of data to draw from these guys for the last month. So Webb Simpson, I grabbed a plus 140, plus 135 still out there. Full tournament. There's no cut in this event, so you have a 4-day sweat, but that's going to be my best bet of the week.
No, I would say these golf, the golf sweats are going to kill me before the end of the year. Last year with the 4-day full tournament head-to-heads, it really 4 days of pain here when you're enjoying it. But no, I like it, baby. Little Webb Simpson here had to get us started back on the PJ on the links.
Yes,
I'm going to go, we talked a little wild card. We talked a little bit, CFB, NBA. Here's what we're running. College basketball tonight. And I fill some orders for some people who know what they're talking about with college basketball. I may not know any of these, just NCAA extra games. Radford tonight, minus 4.5, minus 5. They're playing Hampton. I don't know anybody on the other teams, but I know some sharp people that bet it and some people that had me fill it for them. So Radford tonight. Don't ask me where Radford's at. Don't ask me who plays for Radford. Just go to the website and click, Radford minus 4.5, minus 5. Good to minus 5. That's what I was told, and that's what I'm giving the people today. So, hey, that's what we're getting here to end it on best bets.
That's great, man. I do the same thing. I don't know shit about college basketball. I just listen to people who are smart. I don't know where half these schools are. I couldn't name their mascot. I don't know their colors. I just watch the account go up because these guys are really good at this shit. It's pretty incredible.
Hey, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. You can't cap everything every time, baby. So, hey, great show. Boys, we're back this week, baby. Ali Melendez will be back next week, unless it's another KNISH'S takeover after this one. So, hey, man, great show. And, hey, this was Line Sniper in the Crosshairs, your definitive source for all things sports betting. For my guy, J-Maz, your boy Joey KNISH. Hope we got you all your wild card, all your NBA, all your CFB championship game fixes. We will see you next week on In the Crosshairs.